What up? Welcome to another episode of the Back of the Class podcast. We are your hosts, all three of us. I am the Esteban Serrano.
I'm back. I'm Wonka David.
I'm Zach. I'm not Wonka David.
No, you're not Wonka David at all whatsoever.
You ain't no goddamn Wonka David.
And today,
I try so hard.
we got so much to talk about. The Drake over. Drake was just in New York City for 3 nights at the Garden.
Four.
4 nights?
4 nights. They weren't
4
4 in a
nights.
row, but yeah, 4.
4 nights, and Zach was on hand for at least one of them.
Yep.
Frank Ocean did not drop an album, and so we're going to talk about that. And I also have a dope interview I did with OCD Moosh and Twist, whose album is in stores on iTunes, Spotify, all of those amazing places. It's called Growing Pains, and I got to sit down and talk to them about that. So we'll play a clip of that interview. And, of course, Suicide Squad is not only the biggest movie on the planet right now, but the biggest soundtrack as well. And we will talk about both of those in the Flex Zone.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into this podcast.
Yeah, so, people were admiring Adele for booking like 6 LA and New York dates. Meanwhile, Drake and Future booked 4, which is a huge deal. And I went on Monday night to see the last one, and he brought out like people. When I came into work,
Wait,
here,
you were on the Monday night one?
Yeah, I was on the Monday night, which is the last one. And I came
Wow.
into work here on Tuesday morning, and people were pissed that I got to see it because
Tina.
a lot of people
People
here
like
at Fuse
Tina.
went to see Drake and Future, and they might have actually not been able to even get tickets to this date because he added dates later. So it might not even been their choice. But yeah, he waited till night 4 to bring out like Joel Santana, Cameron, T.I., Remy Ma, and Fat Joe,
Right.
and then J. Cole, like at the end. Like
Come
that's
on,
a
man.
huge move, and obviously those guys go way back.
Right.
Is this a show where he asked for Flex to get fired?
No, that was the first show.
The
That was
first
the first
show.
show?
The last show, what he did was he said, "This is the real summer jam. What have they done for hip hop lately?"
Wow.
I was on vacation, so I apologize.
Yeah, no.
But I was hearing the sprinklings of the Drake news, the
Right,
whole
right.
him and Eminem thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I heard the whole him and Flex thing.
Yeah.
Damn, what does he have against Hot 97 all of a sudden?
Well, Ebro is, this is a weird situation because Ebro is one of the main faces for Beats One,
Right.
and he's also still doing,
The morning show.
The morning
197
show on
over
Hot
there,
97
too.
and program
And
director.
And he's always
he-
name dropping him too. I was talking to Drake the other night.
Exactly. And he came out saying, he gave he recounted a behind the scenes conversation he had with Drake about all this Joe Budden shit. And he said, "I heard Eminem's about to come out with something for you too." And Drake was like, "Well, if he does, I got something to go right back at him with."
Like he had something to go back.
And
at
that
him.
was a huge story,
Yeah.
a huge story.
Wait, can we pause right
Eh.
there for a second?
Okay.
Let's just pause right here and enjoy. So
Before,
Ebro is
yeah.
having a private conversation with Drake that he makes public with the world. In this conversation, he's talking about a beef with Button, which Drake has yet to respond to, really.
And then
at all.
And then he says, if Eminem goes at me, I got something for him. What about the 3 somethings that Joe had for you?
But we can go farther down that road. But then Ebro said he made it up.
Right.
Wait. Ebro said he made the whole thing up?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's still on the morning show?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what's
man.
funny about this is that I read the article about Drake's comments about going back at M.
Uh-huh.
The article could not stress anymore how much, air quotes, Ebro is one of the highest respected hip hop journalists in hip hop. They
wrote
said
it?
it.
Who wrote
man.
this?
I think it was Vibe.
What journalist?
It might have been Vibe. I don't know. I just
Allegedly.
you just see it. You click on it. You read the story and whatever.
I cannot.
And
Yeah.
then I read and
Right.
like 4 times they were like, again, Ebro is one of the most respected. I'm like, I don't know, whatever. But then to hear that now that makes it
Not
even
to Drake.
funnier.
Not to Drake.
Not to anyone, I don't think.
And he came out saying he made it up.
Yeah. And look, if you want to troll people and then the next day have something come out, like say Schoolboy Q says "Crying Jordan with No Eyes" is my album
Right,
cover,
right.
and you get everybody to blog about it, like,
That's
hey
good-
man,
that's
that's
good
good.
fun,
Like
though.
you got
Right.
publicity.
And he's an artist.
It was fun, and even this
Right.
is a fun rumor, but it's like it just looks bad, man.
I mean,
Either
yeah, it
you're
looks
fucking
terrible.
over like your beats one your Apple Music teammate, or you're doing it just to again get publicity, but in like a real grimy,
And that
stupid
makes
ass
97
way.
look now Drake has every reason to feel the way he does.
Right.
Now I understand why
About
he feels
all
that
his
way.
feelings.
Which also makes me feel like the Breakfast Club is killing the morning show in New York. If
Well,
you
that's
got
'cause
Well,
Drake-
he posted some pictures with Charlamagne later that night
Yes, he
too.
did.
Drake
Well, that's
Popping
did.
because
bottles.
they're killing themselves basically with having that dumbass do that. Like, why would you
Yeah.
even do that? Unless it really happened, they threatened him or something, and then he was like, "Oh, I'll just say I made it up."
Are we gonna have to like talk about Hot 97 soon?
I think so.
All right, I might take off some of my carefully controlled listening and put some Hot 97 on a little bit more, and we can talk about how many times we heard whatever their biggest one right now is. Still like All the Way Up or Panda. What song are they playing like 5 times an hour right now?
I have no idea.
Anybody
I
know?
don't
Controller
listen to it.
probably.
Probably Controller.
I haven't listened to Hot
So I'll
97
just give a
or any radio
a little
program.
bit of a happier note here,
Yes,
like on the Drake show
please.
itself.
Share the love.
I didn't buy tickets for this. Like Kanye might be the only like major hip hop artist I'm gonna come out to an arena and like spend that money for. So when the news came out, I was like, man, that sounds really fun, but I've just been weirded out about the idea of seeing a Drake show. And like you guys know how much I love Drake, but like
Right.
I really enjoy how he occupies different spaces on a record.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can do Look What You've Done or
Right.
Take Care and like Worst Behavior and start from the bottom and 0 to 100 the next minute. But like, I was kind of creeped out about how that would take place in an arena, because
Right.
then does it feel like he's posturing or like acting when he's doing one or the other? Because those are real, like to switch through those emotions
Right.
quickly is like, it's weird. But no, he nailed it. Like he did such a good job. The crowd was like just shouting out all those Drake lines. It was so fun. Like the crowd was so into it.
What
It
was the
a
crowd?
real, like,
Female to male ratio.
dude, I was like up in the top deck. I don't know. I mean, it was a
That
pretty.
means you had a good view of all the women over there, huh?
Well, let me
it
tell
was
you.
a
Let me
pretty
tell you.
diverse crowd, and
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Leaving this office, which is right across the street from Madison
Right,
Square Garden,
right.
all of those nights, I can tell you that I saw way more women than men. Way more.
Which is to be expected.
Right.
I didn't really. I went right through security. I went right up to my floor. I went right to my seat. So I saw a lot of people, and it looked like a lot
Just a
of
sea of
dates, a
people,
lot of
right.
groups of guys, a few like probably smaller groups of girls.
That's just, oh no, I
Yeah, let's
laugh at
not.
that because I wouldn't go like all my
Dude,
my
Drake,
homies would be like,
everybody likes Drake,
Yo,
man. Like that's the thing.
y'all want to go see Drake next week? Like,
Right.
I just I don't know. It's just that's because of the type of artist he is.
You
like,
know what the
Right.
crowd was mostly made up of? People from New Jersey.
oh,
that makes
heavy.
sense. That makes
Either people from New Jersey or people from New Jersey cheer the loudest when they
no,
get shouted
or a
out.
lot of Long Island people too, because you got to remember like Penn Station's that hub for
I don't think they even
Jersey
gave Long Island
suburbs and
people
Long
the
Island
shot.
suburbs.
I don't think
No.
they gave Long Island people the
He's
shot.
talking about the call and response.
yeah, the
shout
call
out
and response.
Oh.
It's Jersey up in here.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
they
gotcha,
did.
gotcha.
They did. They did the Bronx. They did
Right.
Jersey. They did Brooklyn and Queens. That was it. Staten got nothing. Manhattan never gets anything.
Dude, Staten Island.
Harlem, they were literally like, "We'll get to Harlem later." And
That's hilarious.
That makes sense.
But yeah, we're like pretty deep in the weeds here. But it was such a fun show. Like the vibe in there was just like so communal. The set that he has is like, you come out and there's all these like balloons, and you just figure, okay, those are gonna drop later. But what happens is he performs for quite a while, and then Hotline Bling starts, and there's like one of the balloons is right near him, and now as there's the like cha cha sound, whatever that fucking instrument is,
The Wii Menu
the
song?
guiro or something. As that's going, the balloon turns pink and it starts floating up to the others. And then when the beat drops, all these balloons are on different timing of like rigs of like when they drop and come up. So it's all kind of random, but they're also like choreographed with each other. They're lit up bright pink and they're like dropping in and out of the crowd. The effect was amazing. And he
Dope.
did that with a lot of other songs with different lighting and different patterns. So it was like, did a lot with a little. The way he like brings Future out in the middle of the set to do his own thing for like an hour.
Okay.
It just flowed really
So
well,
wait,
and it was
Future
great.
didn't open?
No. Roy Woods opened and was like pretty dull. He did the song Drama that he has with Drake, and the Drake verse played with no Drake. That was everybody's favorite part. And then, the dude Division, who I still don't even know much about, who's an OVO guy, was like unreal. Like that guy is a vocalist. Like that guy is like The Weeknd on crack.
Wow.
And he came out there with 3 female gospel singers who stayed out the whole time, like in the robes. That was his accompaniment.
Wow.
So that was really good. Yeah.
Nice.
And then Drake came out, played Summer 16. then he played 50 great Drake songs.
Right.
It was such a good set, and some surprises. Mostly hits, but some really good songs that everybody was singing along with.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
So what? So going back to this whole beef. So what was the exact thing with Flex specifically?
Flex was the one who called him out with the
Meek stuff,
with
right?
the Meek stuff,
Yeah.
but with the reference. So Flex told the whole story because after Drake said he should be fired, and then he'll come to High 97 and do one of their shows.
And that was last week.
Flex went on the radio that night and was like, "I got something for you," and then he started telling the story about how he acquired the references.
Mm-hmm.
And told the whole backstory basically about how when Drake was asked to do the feature on Meek, when he recorded the verse, people in Meek's camp was like, yo, he sounds like he's coming at you. Is he talking about you, on this verse? Because he's talking about, the girl of your dreams and all that stuff, whatever. And so when they reached out to Drake's camp, it was like, yo, is Drake talking about, Meek and this whole thing? And the camp was like, no. And because Meek's camp is notorious Philly gangsters, Drake and his camp felt threatened. And so in feeling threatened, tried to prove that it wasn't the intention. So what they did was they told him and showed him that Drake didn't even write the verse.
Wow.
So he can't be talking about you. He never wrote it. And he did that because he was getting pressed so hard by Meek's crew. And that was the story that Flex told. He was like, so stop acting, this is the real reason is because you a punk and you got pressed by some real G's and they pulled it out of you. So that was the...
So basically, Hot 97 is acting like Star Magazine here because
they are,
Drake is the biggest in the hip-hop game, so they're going to do whatever they can
but
and say whatever they want. And
in that instance, kind of Drake was the one who instigated by saying...
But still, it's so much hearsay, and it's like, come on, I don't know, man. As we're going to get to in a minute, the New York Times just fucked up on Frank Ocean. So, like, a hip-hop, radio DJ...
Right.
Like, come on, great. They're connected. They're like in the culture, but like, who was that source? Like, whatever, man. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's I said,
look,
it's
my
real
problem,
gossip magazine-y.
My real beef is that Drake came to New York and called out Funkmaster Flex, and still has crickets to say to Joe Budden, who's been getting on his ass for these last 3 weeks.
And Joe Budden told the whatever story of what Drake allegedly said to him too.
Yeah, he sent all his DMs.
Everybody wants to say what Drake said.
Right, exactly. So forget about it.
Wait, what?
Joe Budden said that Drake and him were DMing and that Drake was very lighthearted about it and invited him to MSG and bet him $10K that he couldn't write 25 diss tracks before that. That's pretty much
what Budden said?
That's what Budden said.
That's what Budden said. Drake said to him in his DMs.
If you Ebro said something else.
And Ebro said, yeah. Anyway,
that's
enough.
a lot of gossip, but it's not. None of it is out of the realm of possibility.
Oh,
No.
of course not.
Absolutely.
Like all that stuff about Drake being scared to the fact that they're pressing him. I believe that.
Right.
It's probably not true. It probably is, but I believe it. It's
Right.
not out of the realm of possibility.
Exactly.
Joe Budden saying that he DM'd him and said that, totally believable. Because obviously off of that,
Right.
it's totally. But I get now it's just like everybody's gonna join the party and with the Drake shit. It's like,
Anyway, so let's get to this frankly disappointed segment. So Frank Ocean's album did not come out on Friday.
Jeez. I'm so embarrassed we did that segment just straight ahead like it was going to happen.
Yeah.
it's your guys' fault why he didn't put it out.
So why didn't he not put it out? Did they get to the bottom of it?
No, there's no bottom to any of this, man. The floor just keeps falling.
Here's my thing. We said it last week, and I'll say it again. The delay, from what I understood, was because Frank was very, very conscious, nervous, anxious about how the second album is going to be received in comparison to the Grammy Award-winning, chart-topping, fan favorite first album.
Yep.
Now, this is the second release date that was missed.
This is the third.
The
because
third
It was
release.
two Julys in a row were definite, and then this past Friday was
So
definite. August,
3
whatever.
release dates later. my opinion, you are making it worse.
Yeah.
It is going to be more critically,
Good call.
ripped
Yeah.
up.
As good as it could be, it's
It's going to be ripped up.
And now there's ill will, too. Ill will
Exactly.
and more scrutiny.
Yo, I went to a barbecue, okay? A barbecue for a 12-year-old's birthday. And I got asked, you work at Fuse. Where's this Frank Ocean album? What do you know? What can you tell? I'm like, dang.
Talk about
Nice
ill
to
will.
see ya.
Now you're like, damn it.
I don't have any information. Can I have a slice of cake?
but you'll be the first one to know when I get any information.
Exactly, but that's how serious it is. People were really upset about
Did you know
this.
that person?
I did. I
Okay,
know.
that's good.
Nah,
Shout
but
out
you're
to
right.
Paul.
Like, the more time between, the more it's... I can't even say the anticipation builds, but the more it takes and the more it gets pushed, if that shit isn't the greatest thing since sliced bread, it's going to be like, it took you this long to put this shit out,
Right.
and you push 3 release dates for that.
Yeah.
Even if it's really good, I
Right.
feel like it's going to get so... The expectations get so high that even as good as it may be, it's probably never going to meet them because you just raise the bar so
I don't
high.
think that, fortunately, I don't think any of us are the type that feels like we deserve something or that like we're demanding it and it has to happen. But there are people like that out there. I think it's
Right.
foolish. And I think whenever it comes out, there's going to be, it will be obvious why it took this long. Either because it's so great or either because he was unsure and it
Right.
sounds that way. But it's like, it will make sense in the long run. But the one thing that I'm now upset at Frank about is like, just say something.
Yes.
Say something.
Agreed.
Say anything. Just be
Say-
like, it's not true.
Say it's not done yet.
Yeah.
Say I'm working on it because then it'd be like, okay.
Say you made it up.
say there was a mistake. Somebody say something.
Yeah, and it's because none of the stuff, nowhere along the line has he said with words in any format that it's coming. You know,
Right.
he posted a picture hashtagged July 2015 album 3. He thinks of it as 3 because of Nostalgia Ultra.
Was an
That
album,
was last
right.
year, way before July. This year, this like library card thing came out, this image. I don't know how official it was. I think it was on his website, basically. So these quote unquote definitive hints, but no word from him. And then the thing on Friday was because the New York Times had an Apple Music source that said it's happening. So like, whatever. You didn't say anything after the 1st July. That's fine. Like, we get the drift. Next July, like, okay, I'm not going to be upset if you don't. But then when everybody picks up a story that says it will be out this Friday,
Right.
if that source is wrong,
Right.
fucking say something, man.
Right.
Like-
don't let your fans
Yeah.
down.
And it's not even like there's no way to lose with that because right now, like, it could be Apple Music's fault. It could be the New York Times
Right,
fault.
right.
But
But
just
say something.
Yeah,
Because
don't say anything
you
yet.
owe us
whether
that
it's your
much.
fault or not, yeah.
Not just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna let everybody think it's coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
You know?
And it was like, because this time, and it's completely anecdotal and like personal, but it's like, we talked so much about last week. And I recommend, like, if you're interested in this, you're listening to us, like, last week was probably our definitive conversation on this thing
Right.
until it comes out.
Right.
But like, I was so excited to be on vacation and traveling that day and to be able to listen to this album like a normal person, with my wife, with my best friends. It's summertime, windows down,
Right.
I'm in Maine. But so that led me to like starting 11 p.m. on Thursday night where I'm like reunited with my best friend. And I'm like, I got to be checking for this Frank Ocean album. Like from, 11 till we went to bed at like 3 all day Friday up until early afternoon Saturday. And I'm like, nope, there's no more refreshing.
Crickets.
There's no more refreshing anything. Like this was a huge ruse.
Right. It was a letdown. Well, in lighter news, Travis Scott is not letting us down. He has a party going on in LA for his album that will be on Apple Music. So at least we can look forward to
Damn, that's
a new
pretty
Travis
quick.
Scott. Yeah, man, he's
He
not
dropped-
playing.
The last one was Rodeo, right?
Yep, Rodeo.
When was that? That was last year.
That's like August or September.
Was
last
it?
year, yeah.
Yeah,
Last year?
It was like end of last summertime.
Yeah. Well, now we
You
have
didn't even let
Yeah.
the dust settle on
Quick,
that
quick.
yep,
Yeah.
Birds in the Trap
on that
sing
auto tune.
sing. What is it? Birds in the Trap sing
McKnight.
McKnight. That's the name of the album.
And he explained
Whatever
that
the
too.
fuck
He
that
was
means.
like, we're all like, birds trying to sing out of the trap, but nothing about McKnight at all.
Right. So this is like I
He
know why
has
the
a
Cage
reason
Bird
for it,
sings
but
the remix.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, I'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Moving on. I got to sit down with some of my favorite rappers, OCD, Moosh and Twist. They have been grinding on the underground and the independent scene for a very long time, probably 5 years or so. They tour all over the world. They have a great fan base. They make great music, and they're two great guys who've known each other since they were I think 6 years old or something crazy like that. And they're finally releasing their debut album. It's called Growing Pains, and I brought him into Fuse to talk about it. Check it out. All right, we up in here with OCD, Moosh and Twist.
What's up? What's popping?
Everything is popping. Y'all are on tour right now, running around at all of these different outlets
Press
promoting
runs,
this album.
all
man.
that.
Yeah, we're doing a lot, just going back and forth, but it's good. It's
Yeah,
good to
man.
be busy. It's good to be running around doing something. It's
Right,
good to
no.
be seen.
So tell me about Growing Pains. Is this the debut album?
Yeah, this is technically
like
the
the
debut,
debut
album.
album, man.
How, y'all, I don't know. I just feel like the music that you guys have put out have been so good, and it's
Yeah.
been albums on its own. So how do you did you treat this like a debut? Did
I
it feel
mean-
like it when you were creating it?
Yeah, I mean, every project that we really don't say, like, this is mixtape material, this is album material, this is debut album material, We usually just go all in and lock in with that project. So we gave it our all. And we know just like even this time, it's our first album, in stores, hard copies. It's our first album.
Right.
Really just like full album on iTunes. We put out an EP on iTunes about like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it did really well. It was like 6 joints. So we like, we got to give the people that music. This is what they want.
Right.
We really got to go for it. So pretty much our debut album, yeah.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
man. Now, I mean, being a hip hop fan, and I know you guys are super hip hop fans, like the debut album was like usually the best thing ever in an artist's career. When you think of Illmatic with Nas, you think of Reasonable
Yeah.
Doubt, you think of, Ready to Die, you think of all of these
Yeah.
amazing, iconic debuts. Like, was the stage kind of set,
Yeah.
but did it make the album more like meaningful, more impactful to you?
As far as the process of creating the album, we definitely, I think, tried to touch on things that we've never talked about in our music.
Right.
A lot of personal stuff, a lot of social issues going on, a lot of
Dope.
relationship stuff. And so I think when it comes to the actual material, yeah, I think we got more in depth than we've ever been. And as far as production too, I think we cared most about this release just because, I think every artist, the next project they always put out, they always that always is their favorite. They always
Right.
care more. So that's just
Yeah,
inevitable.
yeah.
But especially with this one, I feel like, it's 14 songs and we took a long time on this and we were
Right.
patient, but we think it's going to pay off. And yes, production wise and content, definitely we stepped it up.
Word. All right, so it's called Growing Pains.
Yeah.
And the way I like to receive music, first of all, I like to kind of contemplate the title, but I also like to look at the art.
Right.
And the art on this cover is like, super personal, straight up cut out collage style.
Yeah.
So just talk about the artwork and like kind of putting that together.
It was the artwork pretty much. It was done by our homie Nick. Shout out to him.
Yeah,
But
Nick's good.
Yeah,
Killed it.
he's super raw. But it's pretty much just a collage of our life, man. So we've been best friends since we were 6 years old. So it's kind of like a fast glimpse of growing from 6 to now being 23. You feel what I'm saying? So pictures from when we were in school at a birthday party playing basketball, like school pictures. I remember like the one picture on there, I was like, it was like an Easter picture for church that my grandma made me took. But my hairline was tough though, so I messed with that. I messed with that heavy.
Word.
But
Yeah, and then, like
it's crazy.
the past couple years, since we started doing this, we've been on the road. So a bunch of show pictures from some of our favorite shows and,
Right.
from our best friends that took them. And
Right.
like Moosh said, it was really just a quick glimpse at everything that's been going on in our lives for as long as we can remember,
Right.
everything we want to highlight. Moosh's kids are on there, his twins are on there. So it's like,
Yeah.
right, the album's dropping in 2016. It'll be 2020 and they'll be a little older and they'll look back like, damn, I'm so small on the cover. Like,
Right.
that's just going to be so cool.
I'm like, yo, I gave y'all that
Absolutely.
look on the cover, man. Don't play.
Exactly. Don't play on me.
Don't
Yeah.
front on me ever.
Word.
Ever.
Word. All right, so you touched on it a little bit, but growing pains. When I think about that title, what does that sound like? What are some of the topics that you guys are talking about?
Well, as we've been reflecting, in all these interviews and just talking to our friends and family and just telling them what it means, we've really came to the conclusion that it's just like we're so close to being where we want to be at, and we're not there yet. And so that's been like a huge growing pain. Like we're like, we can see it and we know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make it happen, and that's been tough. You know what I mean?
Very tough.
Doing shows for the past couple years and seeing homies of ours like blow the fuck up, and we know it's in reach, and it's been a little struggle. It's been a little painful, and we feel like in order to grow, you got to go through some stuff. So that's what we've been going through, and that's what the album is about.
Right.
But
Dope.
what else would you say about it?
I would definitely just say, like, even in our personal lives, it's been like a lot of ups and downs, and just I think on this album the most is where like we spilled the most, just going about, just talking about relationships, all the crazy shit that's going on in the world with cops killing kids.
Yeah, man.
And us being black and white, obviously, we
Right.
gotta say our piece without
Yeah.
preaching to people, but we gotta say our piece.
Right.
And we feel like it's our platform, but it's kind of just like our job to. We don't want to like put it in people's face, but like, yo, it's unity. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
we've been best friends since we were 6, and just like we come from different places.
Mm-hmm.
He comes from like Center City. I come from the bottom.
Right.
The bottom of West Philly. And,
Yeah.
they don't call it that for no reason.
It's the
You feel what I'm
hardest
saying?
part of this. I'm
You
from.
know that.
I'm from West. I'm not from
Yeah.
the bottom,
Exactly.
but I'm from West, and I know that. That's no joke, man.
Yeah, so it's just like it's crazy. Definitely that we connected, and it's like we have the same goal, coming from two polar opposites. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? So definitely we have to put that on the forefront for this album.
Word.
Growing pains, man.
Yeah.
Word. Now you said too sonically you pay more attention to production. You cared a lot more. So what does this sound like?
This sounds like everything we've been trying to do for the past couple of years, just take it to that next level. You know what I
Right.
mean? And as far as, like, we used a lot of live instrumentation on this, not as much as the next project,
Right.
hopefully, but yeah, for the first time we got people involved playing live bass, and,
Dope.
we brought homies in to play keys, and, it's just, even when a track could have been finished and done, we went back and tried to work on it 2 more times, 3 more times,
Yeah.
just to make sure it was, like, up to that level.
Dope.
And, besides production-wise, just like, we went back in on vocals a lot. We recut verses. Some tracks were 7, 8 months old, and we listened back like,
You
man,
gotta go back.
I hate my voice on this. It's different now. We got to do it again. So we just cared. We just cared a lot about this project.
Meticulous with it.
Yeah. And
Very.
one thing that was super dope about this project, like, so we had 85% of the project done, and then we went on tour. So, like, after we got back from tour, we were like, yo, let's go back in, let's revisit some shit.
Right.
And just, I think even being on tour, it was a long-ass tour, too. It was like 60 days. We saw what worked with the fans. You feel what I'm saying? It was,
You got to test it.
you got to test it, bro.
Wow.
This works, this don't really work as well. So let's go back. Let's kind of push it towards this direction a little bit. So we got that gauge and seeing, all right, this works 90% of the time.
Right.
Let's kind of form some stuff around this. So that was just a good actual gauge of what's going on, and that was key for this project.
Word.
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
We
man.
definitely experimented a lot on this project musically. Like, we definitely did things that we've never done before.
Dope.
We sang a lot on this
I
album.
was about to go there.
Yeah.
Verses too. Our thing is, we've always took pride in our hooks, singing our hooks, and
Right, right.
the bars are always there. But for the first time too, like, because we do have different styles, Moosh and me, like, some songs I sing a whole verse and then I go into a hook, and he's the only one that spits bars on the record. So
Right.
it's like we really tried to capitalize on strengths and weaknesses on different songs, just
Yeah.
to kind of like keep things interesting. Because if it's always like 16 hook,
Right.
that shit's boring.
Yeah.
Right,
But
agreed.
we tried to push ourselves, and like normally if he recorded something first and it was a verse, maybe I would a year and a half, 2 years ago be like, all right, bet I'm gonna write my verse off of this, done. But I was like, let me make something a little different, vice versa.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about this tour. It's bananas.
Growing
Yeah.
Pains
You're
tour.
on like every city
Lineup
I've
is
ever heard.
crazy. Lineup
Yeah,
is crazy.
It's gonna be exciting. So me and my brother Twizzy, our whole crew, The homie Bryce Vaughn is coming. The homie Pride from Toronto's coming. And some other special guests are going to be coming. It's going to be sick. And it's dope because just like even with the music, we're going to step everything up with production.
Word.
Our band, our DJ, you know, we're just excited, man.
Yeah.
We're excited. We got a, not that if people would care, but we got a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, and we're super excited about that.
Not
Because-
that people care.
For
You
real.
care.
Yeah.
It's a big ass deal.
That's a big
Word.
deal
No,
because
that's a major deal.
we used to
Luxury.
be the 15 passenger
Yeah.
Bobbies, you know.
And before the 15 passenger, we were in the Windstar, the fucking soccer mom
the
van
soccer
for
Yeah, the
mom
soccer
mobile.
mom.
for 2
fun.
tours, 5 people, man. That
Yeah,
shit was
that's
so
crazy.
No joke.
We're gonna be pulling up some type of way in that black on black
Yeah,
tinted
yeah.
out Sprinter.
yeah.
Don't say
Word.
nothing to me.
Yeah.
Word.
You know.
Hilarious.
It's gonna feel good.
You already
That's
know.
amazing.
We're excited about
the shit
that.
starts September 6th in Toronto, and then it ends. Well, it's supposed to end in Boston on October 14th, but we're gonna add 2 Philly shows, so we're gonna announce
Gotcha.
that.
2 shows in Philly back to back.
I guess when
Getting
when
busy.
this is released, it'll be
Gotcha.
announced. But yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. And our New York City show is Highline Ballroom, October 13th. So
Yeah.
we'll see you there, Esteban.
Yeah,
and
you know,
anybody
and
else
I'm
should
in
come
Philly.
through. You know.
Bring
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fam
all day,
too.
all day.
Bring the fam, bring the
Yes.
youngins.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
already know.
They need
Hopefully
to
it's
practice. They
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
study.
yeah, they need to study.
They need to study and
You already
practice.
know.
All right, that was OCD Moosh and Twist. Thanks, guys, for coming through.
Yeah, thank you.
And like I said, the album's on iTunes, the album's on Spotify. The album is physically available places where you can buy physically available albums. And now it's time to get into the flex zone.
Oh,
And this is where
This is where Zach checks out.
this is where Zach
minefield.
checks out and Juan finally picks his microphone up.
No, I'm all about this whole Suicide Squad story, man.
Did you see it?
No, and honestly, because of the feedback, like there was like maybe a 65 to 70% chance I would have checked it out. But
Until you heard it.
I am not gonna go try another
Right.
fucking.
Honestly, you're not
even
missing-
another superhero movie with bad reviews. Like
Right.
Batman
You're-
vs Superman was. I'm traumatized still.
You're not missing anything if you miss Suicide Squad.
Okay.
So Juan, as the resident nerd, not only of this podcast but of this entire business of Q's, give us your impressions, your thoughts.
All right. I didn't hate it,
Right.
but I did not love it. There was a lot of stuff wrong with it, and we were talking about this like yesterday because Esteban saw it too.
You mean comic continuity wrong, or just like
Just on levels of movie making and storytelling, just basic shit.
right?
That just if I had to sum it all in one word, the word I would use is just rushed. Everything just seemed rushed. A lot of the stuff fell flat.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, some stuff was fun. Will Smith was awesome. I thought,
Which is a surprise.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this: Batman v Superman, biggest surprise. I hated Ben Affleck casted as Batman before I saw it.
But you
After I
loved it,
saw
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
won me over hands down. Will Smith is Deadshot. But my son, he's too old to play Deadshot. And I don't know, about him. He always plays himself in movies. He
that
got to
was
play
my
Deadshot.
argument.
Kill Deadshot.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy
All
about the casting.
Mhm.
I understood the casting because you need some big name attached to it if it's not going to be Affleck playing Batman or a major superhero from
Right.
that universe. That's also why they casted Margot as, Harley. But like my biggest problems with it were just mostly the writing, the pacing, and like I said, man, it just felt rushed.
I heard they tried to give backstories for like all of them.
No, they
No,
didn't. They
they
gave you
didn't do it.
backstories on the 2 major characters that are played by
Okay.
the 2 major stars,
All
Right.
which is what makes sense. And then everyone else, it's either you have to read fast because they put up like graphic cards for other people
Yeah.
Okay.
with stats, and
With
if you don't
stats,
read it
right.
in a second and a half,
It's gone.
it's fucking gone.
Now, the rule of television,
rushed,
for all
yeah.
of you people who are at home who don't know,
Yeah, what is-
the rule of television, when you put up a title, people should be able to read it twice.
Yep.
If I can't read it once,
You couldn't
You-
read it either.
no,
Yeah.
you put the title up too fast.
How
They
far
put the-
did you guys get through them? Like half.
I saw the name.
The name, that was all I got.
I saw the name, and then when I tried to read the secondary stuff,
Right.
it was already gone.
And not only that, because it's in a graphic that's like bright color. Your eyes got to take a minute to separate the
Damn.
text from the design.
Bad look, guys.
Anyway,
Yeah. Like, I hate to just shit on it, Because there were highlights, you know, like we said, Will Smith was good.
Right.
Margot Robbie might be the fucking hottest woman on the planet right now.
Right.
So it wasn't terrible looking. You know,
Right.
it sounds stupid, but it's, you know, like
No, she looked great. I mean, and I didn't really care for that character at all. I felt like she did a great job. I wish her character would have been more consistent, which is what we talked about.
Yeah, and the thing
from
with
the
her
writing
is
and the storytelling standpoint.
she tried hard to bring that writing to life.
Right.
But a lot of the lines that were given to her, the one-liners that we all saw in the trailers, they just fall flat.
Hated it.
You could tell she tried.
Were people in the crowd laughing much? Or?
Nope.
There were instances where you laugh because it was off the cuff kind of reactionary lines that are funny in theory because, you know, they're reactionary. But the one-liners that we all seen in the trailers and that, you know, are scripted as one-liners with the camera angle and like this is your line.
Right.
Yeah.
They just fell flat. She tried to, you
Big
know,
time.
she tried to deliver the character based on the animated series version with the accent. And
Wait, what's the accent?
I don't, it's not.
It's
like
like,
New
a
York,
York.
New York, New Jersey, like Puddin', you know, like
Right.
what she calls
Right.
Joker Puddin', like the way she said in animated series, it was just perfect.
Right.
Okay.
The way she said it in the movie worked sometimes, but most of the time it did not.
Not only that, I heard her. Where is she from?
She's from Australia.
I heard her Australian accent 3 times in that.
Oh,
movie.
really?
3 lines. I heard
bad.
her Australian
bad.
accent.
Yeah, the character development too was just not like what you said. Like we said, like we get backstories on Floyd Lawton, aka Deadshot, which is great.
Right.
It was done very well.
Yep.
It
Let's start heads up. Let's start spoiling. Like just
Yeah,
spoilers on. Okay.
Spoil it. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Okay, go. So yeah, they gave a great backstory on Deadshot. Will Smith kills it because I mean it's just weird, man. He does very well, but it's still the stuff they wrote for him were very Will Smithy lines.
Definitely.
He calls somebody a hoe.
Right.
You know, there's just like that contemporary Will
Right.
Smith shit, and they wrote it, but it made sense because they wrote it for him, and he's the one fucking playing the character.
Right.
The other stuff that they wrote for like Harley, they try to keep the character from the comic, that vein in the writing, but it just didn't.
It wasn't consistent.
It wasn't consistent, and she tried, but it just didn't connect. And
Can I really talk about Slipknot? They went not in depth. You knew everyone who was in Suicide Squad's backstory. They showed you how they captured them.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Slipknot's here.
Yeah, it
They
was big,
literally
yeah.
said that. Oh yeah, and Slipknot's here, and then he dies 30 seconds later.
Yeah, he didn't last. That's another big problem with the movie was wasted characters, man.
Well,
Like,
did anybody else die? Like any?
damn, we're going spoiler hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know if did the Joker die? Obviously not.
No,
right?
and he was
Any of the main
That was
one of
the
kind
biggest
of highlights,
disappointment.
and we didn't see him a ton.
The biggest disappointment.
You only saw him a couple of times in the movie. I mean, he shined in the areas that he. I'm a harsh critic for that character because that's my
Right.
favorite all-time character.
Right.
Ever.
Oh wow.
So there was stuff I didn't like because it just seemed very campy, and again, it was the lines that were written
It
that he was trying
was,
to do
man.
his best. But there were other times where like I love that he has a whole crew and they call him boss, and he really comes off as like he's fucking nuts.
He's nuts,
right? But then there's other times where he's delivering lines and you're just like, oh, that's so cheesy.
But everyone had. Anytime Croc opened his mouth, you knew that the worst possible. Some white guy wrote this black
Yeah.
guy's
Uh-huh.
lines.
Uh-huh.
They're like, not me, shorty. I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
Who the hell would say that? Like,
Like, who the
anywhere
fuck
in
says
gen-
shorty
Who
anyway
says shorty
anymore?
anymore? Like, it was pissing me off. At the end, they saved the world. Everybody, what do you want? You get what you want. He asked for BET.
And you didn't know what he asked for
No.
because you don't understand it until they showed it. You're like, oh, he did say BET.
He said
I thought it was crazy.
BET. He wanted BET.
You're like he
Harley
wants a bacon,
a-
egg, and tomato.
Right.
I hope.
Harley wants a cappuccino machine in
An
her
espresso machine.
cell, espresso machine. He wants BET. Nick, come on, no one wants BET.
It's also too like going back to the storytelling. It was just so cliche where at the end it's the villain with you have to go confront them because they have their end game, and it's a fucking light shining to the sky,
Right.
like Ghostbusters. Like fucking
Fan-
Avengers,
Fantastic
Yeah.
Four.
like Fantastic Four. It was so cliche, and like the end game just didn't make sense. She was fucking terrible. I'm sorry.
Yes, the most important part of a superhero movie is the villain,
And she was
Who's the
she
villain?
fucking-
Cara Delevingne,
Enchantress.
the Enchantress.
and she's I mean, and you can't really. She's a model.
They
so
needed all those people to stop her.
basically
to
like,
stop the
she's
girl
supposed
from
to
the
be
Bad
part of
Blood
the group,
video.
but she flips.
Right.
I'm not gonna go into that shit because that
Yeah,
we'll
that
be here
sounds
all
like-
day.
And that's another thing I hate, and you've heard me say it many a time. I wish they would remove love interests from superhero movies altogether.
Unless they
because
actually care about
clearly
it.
it is the weakest part of the storyline, but it is also the weakness that everyone knows to exploit when you need to trap a hero. Like, it's so corny, man.
Also, I feel like the way they wrote the story, the stakes were way too high for that group. Like, for example, she's talking about building this fucking giant machine that humans are gonna fucking worship, therefore worship her because she made it. Sounds fucking stupid.
Right.
But it's like end of the world type shit because there's a fucking light from the earth to the goddamn
Heavens.
sky. Yeah.
Right.
So obviously it's fucking end of world biblical shit.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna tell me you couldn't get fucking Flash, who you showed in the fucking movie, who,
Or Batman,
who
what-
you showed in the movie.
What was he doing? He was so busy doing God knows what that he couldn't help save the world?
Yeah, like that shit made like if you would have said, yo, there's like this fucking military group that's trying to take
Come
over
on.
Metro City and we have no one else because there's this other big shit going on somewhere else.
Right.
Done. I'm not thinking about it anymore because you just quelled that, you know, because that's the way I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you're getting a fucking guy who throws boomerangs, a chick who has a baseball bat and is fucking
Right.
crazy now and then not crazy later, and Deadshot who's a great marksman to fucking save the world when you are showing me metahumans
Right.
that are literally like, you know, besides Superman Batman who doesn't have, you know,
Powers.
superpowers. But like, you showed me Wonder Woman. I know this movie is taking place in the timeline after we've seen Superman on Earth.
Right.
He's dead according to the timeline. But I've already seen Wonder Woman. You've
Right.
shown me fucking Batman.
Right.
You've shown me Flash in this
In
movie.
this movie, right.
So
We're
that-
in Midway, which is the home of Hawkman and Hawkwoman or whatever the
Yeah.
heck they're called. Here's how I as a comic book outsider, I view the comic book world where all these multiple heroes live like I view SVU. When a case comes down, who's available? You're the next super group. Go, and then the rest of the heroes go work your own case. Like if the world is coming to an end, why isn't everyone all hands
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
deck?
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's just comics. In comics, everyone has their own city.
Exactly.
They
Right.
look on after their own city, and then when something fucking monumental happens that threatens the whole
world.
universe,
Right.
Right.
they all get together.
Yeah.
And this one is just they just raised the stakes too high, and it just didn't.
That's
make
why
sense.
Deadpool was so good, right?
Yeah, because it
Deadpool
was
was-
like, and
He had to
but-
go beat a guy.
Yeah, but like also, you know, the whole Harley thing too. Just she doesn't fit in with, you know, I don't think her character and her abilities are enough for her to carry a movie like they were kind of trying to get her to carry.
Right.
You know, there's a guy who's half alligator, half man. There's a guy who does not fucking miss when he shoots. Like,
Right.
he just doesn't miss, right? There's a fucking guy who throws
Who's a
boomerangs
demon
with
who possessed
gadgets.
by a fire
There's a
demon.
and then it's like, what's your ability? Oh, I'm fucking crazy and kooky, and I have
And
a
I have a
baseball
bat.
It's just like,
She was putting in work
yeah,
with this bat. Like one of my favorite recap videos online was a guy who was breaking it down, and he was like, "So you got Deadshot who grabs all these guns and can shoot shit. You got all these metahumans." She's like, and then you got Harley Quinn who is beating the shit out of aliens with a bat that everyone else needs powers to kill.
yeah. And then there's parts where these grunts can't be shot in the head. Like a simple shot to the head won't do. I'm like, really? Because I'm pretty sure Will Smith is taking care of this whole fucking block, doing exactly what you said
Yeah.
you can't do to defeat him.
Exactly.
Again, rushed,
Yikes.
bad storytelling.
Yikes.
You know what I
Now,
mean?
do you think it was like here? Do you think it was rushed? Because from what I understand, this was supposed to be a minor movie, but after Batman v Superman trashed, then the stakes raised for them. They had to step it all the way up. They got more money to shoot. They got more resources. So do you think it was rushed? Do you think that the little cult film that they were trying to make, which was probably going to be rated R or somewhere in that vein, now needed to be 13 and beefed up? Like, what do you think it
Here's
dropped the
my
ball?
take, and I've been saying this since Man of Steel came out. DC has been playing catch up to Marvel for years now. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say Marvel hasn't done bad movies, but they haven't made Batman versus Superman movies. You know what I'm saying? Where you're just like, this movie is just, again, people enjoy Batman Superman. That's like, you know, it's objective. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it as a fact, but I'm just gonna as a general consensus, right? They've been playing catch up because Marvel just seems to do everything right, right? So DC is reacting to everything Marvel does. So, and it's kind of to a fault, and it's their flaw, because Suicide Squad, like you said, was supposed to be the small movie, but then when those Avenger movies fucking went crazy and killed in the box office, they're like, all right, shit, this Suicide Squad thing probably should be bigger. They tried to go after Tom Hardy to be, you know, Rick Flag. That didn't work out. They had to get Will Smith. They had to get Margot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Jared Leto, let's not
Jared
forget.
Leto, yeah.
Big deal.
But like, again, reactionary. Batman vs Superman, the biggest gripe was like, yo, this shit's too dark, right? What they do, we got to reshoot and put more heart into it because we can't have too fucking negative, you know,
dark
connotated,
movies.
you know. So they rushed that, right? They wrote it so fast, from what I heard, and the cut we saw was the second cut, not the original cut, because of Batman versus Superman.
Right.
So there's gonna be an ultimate cut eventually later on.
I can't wait for
so
that.
everything just felt super rushed, and it's been. I just feel like it's DC's problem. They just keep reacting off of Marvel instead of just doing their own thing, and doing maybe not reacting to Marvel, but maybe taking the stuff that they do that works. Like they have Kevin Feige, who like, you know, executive produces all that stuff, and he's like basically in charge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? DC should just let Jeff Johns, who is his kind of counterpart, but not in the same position. They just let the studios and the directors individually take care of the movies, and that's just not, it's not working.
Right.
And now it seems that they're like finally like, all right, fuck it, Jeff Johns, we're gonna make him. I think they just gave him the position of like, I think it's president. I could be wrong, and just let them do their own thing, and then just back it the way Marvel does it. Like Disney doesn't do shit.
Right.
Disney owns it, and Disney just goes, Marvel, you do what you're gonna fucking do. And obviously, who better to do it than the people who know their characters? And, you know what I mean?
Right.
Same thing. DC needs to do the same thing. And hopefully, now that Ben Affleck, who's long life Batman fan,
Right.
who has done nothing but good shit when he's directed, and he's writing, directing. I'm pretty sure he's writing. But I know he's directing the next Batman movie.
Right.
That makes sense. And then Jeff Johns is like the guy behind it. So hopefully, for their sake, Justice League is good. Wonder Woman looks fucking dope. I saw the trailer before Suicide Squad. So hopefully, I learned a lesson from these two.
Wonder Woman looks bad.
Bad as in
Looks
no?
terrible to you?
BAD, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not honestly not interested at all in Wonder Woman.
I
would love her movie to be good. I would love for the, you know, first female-centered superhero
Right.
movie to be great.
I agree.
doesn't
But you
look
know
good
what?
to
If
me.
you would have heard Batman vs Superman was fucking incredible, and Suicide Squad was just as good, if not better, then you would be like, I gotta check out Wonder Woman.
No, that trailer still. I'm not interested in like a Chris Pine, like World War I or II, whatever
I hate
romance
World War
movie.
anything.
But it
movie.
looks so like Captain America: Winter Soldier.
It does.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I saw the Golden Lasso. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's fucking
She's smoking.
gorgeous,
Smoking.
and she plays the. It look she fits the part.
She does. She's
I
a
don't like to
goddess.
judge before I see shit. Like the only thing I really down on is that Justice League trailer, and it's just me having
Yep.
problems with the way Batman is being portrayed.
Nope.
/ Bruce Wayne apparently working as a fucking recruiter,
Right.
which makes no fucking sense.
When Batman was he only in this movie as Batman in Suicide Squad?
Yeah,
or as Bruce Wayne.
He was Bruce.
He was Bruce at the end at the mid credits.
And
Right.
did it like square away with Batman versus Superman? Like, did it feel?
It just
like,
continued on. It just built on the end.
Uh-huh.
Where
No, it actually felt like it didn't build on the end. It felt like it came before, because when he meets
Amanda Waller.
when he meets Amanda Waller in the mid credits after the movie is all the way over, she gives him like the file.
where the people that he's looking for are,
Right.
i.e., Aquaman and Flash,
Right.
and like
So
Cyborg.
that's at the end.
yeah, it's according.
So
to
you
the
think what's
timeline.
happening in this?
But
movie
you already
was,
have the press kit that we saw in the movie. Batman has a
Well,
press
he
kit on
didn't
all
see
of these
it. Wonder
people.
Woman's the one who saw it.
Oh. Okay. So, see how confusing
But
this
it felt
shit
like
is?
the same Batman and the same Bruce Wayne. The
Batman
lined
felt
right-
it looked the
lined up.
same because it was Affleck, and in the backstory for Deadshot, it's Batman's in it, and the
Okay.
backstory for Harley and Joker, he's in it.
Oh, cool.
And
he was in both
and
of those
Affleck's
scenes,
awesome.
too.
Like,
All right.
he looks the part. That fucking bat suit is fucking awesome.
It's sick.
Yeah.
And those two are like two of the fucking highlights of the movie because
Right.
A, it's fucking Batman,
Right.
and B, they're fleshing out a fucking character backstory.
Right.
His Bruce Wayne was fine with Amanda Waller, and she was one of the highlights. I thought she was great.
I thought she was
There was
great,
some
too.
stuff not her fault, like the whole part where like they're in this top secret room, and then she kills everyone in the room that are her like workers,
Right.
and she goes, "They weren't cleared," and I'm like, "But they're fucking in the room with you."
Right.
Like that kind of shit. Again,
Yeah.
like they don't. It's not their fault. The
Yeah.
material is just not.
It's not strong.
It's not strong. It's not cohesive. It's not. The continuity's not there.
It was it felt like it was written by an out of touch person who thinks that they're cool.
Yeah.
And like so the people who would approve the script are also out of touch and also think they're cool and
Yeah.
they think in the
That's
same terms.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Instead of getting someone who would actually know.
That's Hollywood, shorty. Where's my
that's,
BT?
That's how. That's Hollywood in the
Exactly.
DC side. Because in Marvel, they've
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
nailed
Marvel
it.
they
But here's the
nailed
thing:
it.
like the
Doing a
guy
good
who
job.
directed and wrote it was David Ayer, who he's a fucking
got a
great
good track
filmmaker,
record, yeah.
dude. He's a great filmmaker. Like
He don't know
you
shit about hip
Train-
hop,
He wrote.
I'll tell you that
Well, yeah,
much.
he wrote Training Day. He fucking. He
Don't
did
know
Street
shit about
Kings. He
hip-hop.
fucking did Fury. Like he's fucking great. But
End of Watch, I think.
End of Watch too. Fucking great.
Those are great flicks.
visionary. You know, like that stuff he does well because he probably has a great interest in it, right?
Yeah.
He might be a casual comic book fan. I'm not
He
gonna
probably
take
not.
credit. He probably not, but he like I want to give him some credit. Like let's just say for the sake of argument, he's a casual fan. A casual fan in such a deep cut like Suicide Squad, you need someone who understands and knows those characters front and back.
Or you hire people who do.
Or you hire-
and you
yeah.
listen to them.
Well, hey, it was the biggest August opening ever by like a mile.
Oh.
I think doubled what Guardians of the Galaxy set.
And
with
that's
their
what they were.
record.
And that's what they were like. I was watching. I think it was the Kind of Funny guys talk about it. And they were like, "This was DC trying to go for what Guardians did.
Yeah.
A
Right.
group of
Right.
like guys,
Unknown.
people who shouldn't be together, unknowns,
Same
Yeah.
time of year.
and it
too.
just didn't click because it didn't have what.
Right.
Well, it clicked
Marvel
with the
wanted.
box office though. So
And
let's
not
see.
only did
Let's
it
see
click
if they
with the
announce
box
a sequel.
office.
I mean, well, it was also up against fucking 9 Lives and.
And Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Wait, can we close out on a highlight at least?
Close
it's
on a
not-
highlight.
The music was good.
and that's where I was headed, bro.
Okay.
Number one album on Billboard, they're saying
Yeah.
next week will be the Suicide Squad.
Do you feel
soundtrack.
any of the soundtrack beats were on kind of forced though, or no?
the beats?
Like, you know, like
The
using the
moments.
Eminem song and the part where they're all getting their outfits and getting dressed. Because somebody was like, I don't understand why the Eminem, it was the Real Slim Shady Please Stand
Right.
Up. Like, that makes no sense. Why is that song playing when they're all getting like their gear? And I'm like, that video, everyone's seen it, and
Right.
he's in 10 different costumes.
Right, exactly.
It makes sense.
No, it made sense to me, and that was my favorite part of the movie was the sound ups.
Really?
Was either when you heard your favorite fat rapper, not Rick Ross, the other favorite fat Action Bronson. When you heard his song come on,
Yeah.
When you heard
With the Black Keys
even
guy.
21 Pilots.
Pilots.
I love that song now.
And
I hated
Queen
it
was on
last week.
there.
I love it now. Purple Lamborghini, amazing record.
That's
like,
a great song.
The
Alright.
the end credits with Wiz Khalifa and all of them. I'll torture you. That joint is crazy. The Kehlani record is crazy. The Skylar Grey record, like
All right.
all of the records.
Yeah.
And what I love about it was in that I felt like, and I told you this earlier this week. I remember when the Riddler Batman came out and Method Man had that record, The Riddler. That record was so dope, but it made you only think of the Riddler. Like it wasn't a record that they wasn't going to use on an album, that they didn't put on a mixtape and threw on this thing.
Yeah.
This was really music inspired by the movie. Everyone who was an artist who was on here bought in, and it fit perfectly.
Yeah.
And the already
for the movie.
established songs that Queen and
Yeah.
Eminem and I think it was a Bette Midler song or something. They
Right.
worked, but they had the contemporary stuff to
Right.
kind of support it. And I feel like they all had an idea of how the whole package wanted to come as contemporary. It just didn't. It just felt a little flat.
I'm looking at the wiki and there's the album is 14 songs, but then it just says a bunch of additional music. Black Skinhead. Did you guys hear that?
No.
No. Some of it might have been like trailer stuff, but
Yeah, maybe.
There
This
could have
looks
been like
great, though.
transitional stuff too, where
This
they
looks
use like a
great,
little
yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, but the album is
But-
dope. I'm not
All
even
right, I'm
gonna
gonna
front.
listen to Purple Lamborghini then. I was kind of like,
Oh.
I don't need to hear any of these like movie songs.
Yeah, I wouldn't
but-
normally either, but after
yeah.
watching the movie, I'm like, yo, yeah, I actually like
Alright,
these
alright.
joints. All right, that brings us to the closing. What are you turkeys listening to this weekend? No Frank Ocean.
Because you can't.
Because you can't.
I'm gonna keep listening to this Chicago rapper No Name. Her album is just so good. I had it in the car, and I'm definitely gonna be on a Drake kick and secondarily a Future kick after that show.
True that.
And I'll check out Division.
I'm gonna keep listening to the Growing Pains, OCD, just because I love those dudes.
Agreed.
And then, like, we've been fans of theirs since like fucking when they first came out, where they both looked like they were fucking 10 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
See how far they've come, and they're
Yeah,
still making
man.
music, and now they're in a bigger space. It's fucking great. So I'm definitely gonna check that album out probably the whole weekend, because there ain't nothing else to do, man.
What are you talking about? I'm telling you right now, The Landlord comes out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Is that this week?
Gigs.
Oh, let's
Gigs
go.
album. Gigs is one of my favorite grime MCs that me and Juan turned up to all summer. Last summer was
All right.
all about Gigs. But his album finally came out, and I can't wait to check.
If you don't know who that
out.
is, look him up. London.
Yeah, Gigs.
From the
Giggs from the estate. He's a roadman. Does roadman things.
All right.
But word. So that's what we'll be doing this weekend. Thanks so much for listening.
Hit us up, subscribe on iTunes. Please
Yeah,
tell us
man.
what you thought of Suicide Squad and
Yes.
Everything.
hashtag Back of the Class. You got our Twitter handles.
That's right. Hashtag the Back of the Class podcast. All of those characters.
That's a lot.
So keep your questions short because the characters are mad.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Thank you.
Peace.